Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what to do, everybody? It's your boy John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go back at you with my boys Vlad and Barry. What's good, fellas?
Not much. What's going on?
Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? We here, Pro Fan Sports Podcast. We're ready and excited for another episode as always. So let's get to it, fellas. On to episode 56.
Episode 56. Barry's live today. You sound a little live today. What's going on?
Man, I was bumping some DMX before coming on here, and that got me hyped up and fired up and ready to go. So that brought the dog in me, as he would say. So
I like that, man. Episode 56. So that's Lawrence Taylor.
Yes, sir. LT.
Mm-hmm. Lawrence Taylor.
We got Sean Merriman.
Yes, with the lightning.
Yes, the lights out.
Lightning strike, you know what I mean? Lights out.
Yeah. Right. We also have Andre Tippett.
Andre Tippett, that's a Patriots.
Yep.
Yes, former
Patriots, great.
Right, yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Got Joe Kelly from the Red Sox. When he played with the Red Sox, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and then got Derek Johnson. He was a linebacker with the Chiefs, and he was a really good.
He was really good, actually, in the middle.
Right.
Yes, I remember Derek Johnson. He made some noise.
Yeah, he was a beast. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So episode 56, man. Hopefully it's lights out like Sean Merriman. You know what I mean?
That's right. Right.
Yeah, but before we start, I'd like to invite you to please follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, profans_sports, on Twitter.com/profansports, Facebook.com/profansports. If you're watching, please make sure to subscribe to this channel, comment, and it's youtube.com/profansports. We drop every Tuesday. The episodes drop every Tuesday, and our episodes drop every Wednesday, meaning the videos drop every Wednesday on YouTube. So be ready to watch it, share it, comment, like, whatever, share with your friends. Helps the channel out. Before we start the show, man, it's been a different week, because some tragedies happened. We've lost some greats, you know what I'm saying? And, we saw the Prince, in England passed away, Prince Phillips. I didn't know anything about him because I don't really know the whole hierarchy stuff. You guys know anything about that? I know that was like a big deal.
Not really.
Apparently he's like Queen Elizabeth.
I don't know much about them. I mean, I heard of him and know who they are, but I'm not really into that stuff either.
Yeah, it's really not funny. It's just funny the fact that we have no idea who these people are, but it was major news. And more sports related. Rest in peace to Robert Leslie and his family, his wife, a couple of their grandkids, a person that was working in their house, and actually today, the last person that was involved in the shooting with Phillip Adams, who's a former NFL player, died today. So all 6 of the victims in that situation actually passed away. And then, we got to rest in peace to Phillip Adams too, because, he took his own life, and we have no idea what the guy was going through. We have no idea what the situation was, but it was definitely a tragic situation. I think he played for the Patriots for a couple seasons, maybe.
He did, actually. Yeah, he was a former Patriot in one of the teams he was. Played for was the Pats, so.
I think he played 6 seasons, and it was kind of like injury riddled, and he got a couple concussions. I heard he got a concussion like a week apart or something like that, and
that sounds about right.
Yeah, he got like 2 concussions a week apart, and I think he was being treated by the doctor that, unfortunately passed away in this situation, man. And I feel bad for the kids, because they were really young kids. And, so rest in peace to that family. And, more non-sports related news, it's a guy that is a great, in our community. It's not really sports related, but he affected all of us. And that's DMX, man.
That's right.
So rest in peace to DMX. I know you were playing some music, Barry. What were you listening to?
So I was listening to, before we started here today, I was listening to Rough Riders Anthem by DMX.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll play for you that some of it, a little bit of it for you guys right now.
Mm-hmm.
Down and down, open up shop. Whoa, whoa, that's a Rough Riders roll. Stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop. Whoa, whoa, that's how Rough Riders roll.
Yeah, man. So,
all right, I'll close that. Yep.
Yeah, man, that's definitely the anthem. Do you have any DMX stories? You guys have any? Did you listen to his music? Like, you have a favorite DMX song?
I mean, I listen to his music. I don't have any stories. I guess the last thing I saw was his verses Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
That was a great verses. So, I mean, I'm a fan. I wasn't the biggest fan, but I'm a fan. Yeah, it sucked. It sucks to hear of his passing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually kind of have an interesting story about DMX. So I technically met him one time. He was actually at Celtics game a few years ago, and he was working security at the Garden during the Celtics games at the time, and was working in front of the turnstiles right where people come in the main entrance once you come into the Garden. And I just seen him come in with these like two chicks, with these two white girls right next to him, right beside him, and he was holding one on one arm and then one on the other arm, and walked up to the turnstile. It wasn't my turnstile but another turnstile, but I could see him come coming in, and I was just like, holy shit, damn, that's DMX. I'm like, okay, DMX, I see you. You still got it. You still doing
He was
your
living
thing.
that B Money lifestyle.
Facts, big facts. Sure was, absolutely. So I was like, all right, DMX, and then yeah, you just like casually came in with those two chicks like it was nothing, and got his ticket scanned, and came through the turnstiles and went right up to his seat for the game and stuff. So that was a pretty cool and pretty awesome moment that I'll always remember about him for the rest of my life. And yeah, particularly since I've always been a fan of his music. Loved his songs growing up. I would listen to them when I need to like get hyped up for sports games, when I used to play sports in high school, like football and basketball. He was one of the main artists that I'd listen to get myself pumped up and ready for the game. And then as far as like a favorite song, that's tough. He had so many good ones. If I had to say favorite, I'd probably go with Party Up.
Party Up. That's a good one. It's probably his number one hit, right?
I think it was his number one hit, as his most known single.
Yeah, I don't really I don't really have a story about DMX. I'm a person that like I listen to a lot of music when I'm feeling some ways and stuff like that. You know what I mean? If you got in trouble at home and stuff, I turn on like Nas and DMX and listen to the crazy stories they had to share. But I more so look at him as like a messenger, because he always had like profound things to say. You know what I'm saying? Like no matter where he was at, he was like praying for people. It was just weird, you know what I mean? Because it's like this boastful rapper that's like in your face kind of thing, but at the same time he's like such a loving person and trying to pray for everybody, and making sure everybody was having a good time. I heard a story about him. Swiss Beats was saying that he's a person that was selfless. You know what I mean? You never seen him in like a Lamborghini. You never seen him in a Rolls Royce. You never seen him with like crazy jewelry on. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't putting that in your face ever. You know what I mean? And that kind of made me think that's pretty true. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't really about that, and he definitely made an impact. I don't really have a favorite song because he has so many crazy hits, man, and
Yeah,
they
he
all hit
does.
you. They all hit you different. You know what I'm saying? Like you can put any of his joints on, and it's either getting you hyped or it's making you think some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? So rest in peace, DMX, man. He made
Yes, R.I.P.
he made an impact on all of us for sure, man. And condolences to his family. But we're gonna veer into the sports talk because that's what we're here for on Pro Fan Sports Podcast. As always, we're gonna be attacking the NBA, tell you some updates that's going on. Some Celtics news, of course. Then we're gonna go into the NFL where we'll update you on what's happening there. Outlook on Patriots and their upcoming draft. The Red Sox started and they're pretty hot right now, so we'll talk about that a little bit. The Bruins are holding strong, even though they have a new goalie, so we'll tell you about that. B-Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, the whole nine, man. So let's get into it, man. So the NBA is up first, and some news on the NBA. Victor Oladipo left the game against the Lakers after injuring his knees. He is set to miss the Heat's 4-game trip, but he actually is going on that trip with the team. So
Wow, so he's traveling.
yeah,
Interesting.
He's traveling with the team. Anthony Davis could be back in 2 weeks, and LeBron James is on 3 weeks. So they should be getting ready to get back to full strength. Hopefully they've had enough time to actually heal up. The Lakers played the Nets last night, which was Saturday night, and the Lakers handed them. They handled them. I think the score was 126-101. So, I think all their starters, hit at least 10 points. So Andre Drummond came through and did his thing.
Had a double-double.
Yep, had a double-double. His best game with the Lakers so far. So, right now that's the what? The finals matchup. Everybody
preview.
say,
right. Yep.
We'll see, because there's still a lot of games to be played, and hopefully they can get back to health and be at full strength. So we'll see about that.
And
The Lakers,
they can stay that way too,
right?
Because they've had trouble. Both teams have had trouble staying healthy throughout the season. So hopefully they can maintain that. For the rest of the season, and once we get into the playoffs.
Yeah. The Lakers acquired Ben McLemore, which was a good move by them because he can get some buckets now. You know what I'm saying?
As
he can
we
get some
saw
buckets
last night,
quickly.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
He was hitting those jumpers. Yeah, that jumper was looking good last night.
Mm-hmm. The Raptors signed Cam Birch to a deal. So other guys are moving in the league. Otto Porter Jr. is going to stay with the Magic after talks of him wanting his contract to be bought out. So that's where he'll stay for now. DeAndre Jordan will also stay with the Nets, even though they just got Blake Griffin and Aldridge and all those guys. So, I think, why would you want to be bought out of the Nets anyways, right? Like,
right,
listen,
exactly. That'd be the dumbest thing.
Because right now it's like one of the best ways to get a championship, right? And he doesn't have a championship in his career yet. So I wouldn't want to be bought out. Like, I'll ride the bench,
Right, exactly. I'll play during garbage time. Shoot.
Right.
Like, I don't care. as long as I'm getting my ring if we win the chip.
And they're gonna need him in the playoff at some point. I mean,
Mhm.
especially if they play the Lakers, who has all those big men.
The big guys.
So he's gonna be needed at some point. So you just have to be a team player at this point.
Yeah, he's gonna be needed in spurts, but like they got Aldridge, they got Blake Griffin now who move a little better. You know what I'm saying? Who can score a little better than Jordan too. You know what I'm saying? So his minutes, man, he's looking, and there's a young guy in there too. People don't really talk about the kid with the blonde tips.
Oh, yeah, Claxton, right? Or
Claxton.
something like that.
He's actually
He's
real
been
athletic.
playing well.
Yes.
Right. He's been doing well for them.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, they got a loaded team, man. They definitely got a loaded team. DeMar DeRozan, it's reported that he's going to be testing free agency next year. You know, right now he's in San Antonio. And it's kind of like, as soon as he went to San Antonio, it's kind of like you forgot, you know, DeMar DeRozan. You know what I mean? Because is it because they're not shown?
Well,
Like,
San Antonio is irrelevant these days. I mean, after they shifted Kawhi to Toronto,
yeah,
they haven't really been making any noise, really.
mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just like, I don't know, they're just not on TV as much. You don't really hear about DeMar, even though he's been playing great. I think it was reported that he wanted out before, and Greg Popovich like talked him into staying, just like Aldridge. You know, because it's like, once Pop speaks, you listen. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we'll see what happened with him. What do you guys think he ends up?
Toronto.
Back to Toronto?
Wow, back to the North?
That's what I would like to see.
Would you go back if you were him?
Yeah.
Man, would you go back?
I would go back.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would, you know, consider that as an option going back, particularly if his boy Kyle Lowry stays, because he's going to be a free agent as well. And, you know, those guys are like best friends. That's his guy. So that'll have an effect and an impact.
It's either I go back or I go wherever Kyle goes. Or
wherever Kyle goes, you like, damn, that relationship is strong, huh?
That relationship is strong.
It is strong. They got a bromance. That's his man right there.
Listen, man, I'm trying to get a chip. I don't care about no Toronto, man. You know, if I'm him, I'm going to a strong team. You know, trying to add to something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Would you guys like to see him on the Celtics?
Man, I don't know. I don't know what the Celtics is gonna look like next year. I mean, he'll be. I mean, I would say yes, because the more scoring power that we can have, the better. But I just don't know where I would put him. Yeah, I just don't know where I would put him. Like right now, I think we need a point guard. Like I'm tired of Kemba.
We need a facilitator. Capable facilitator.
A playmaker, right.
Like, because Kemba right now, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him on the. I mean, I wouldn't take him on the Celtics either. DeMar DeRozan. I mean, unless if he was willing to accept a bench role, which I'm sure he's not gonna be willing to come off the bench, because I don't think he's gonna start, you know, either over, you know, JT or JB and stuff. So I don't know how well that fit is gonna be. Like, yeah, we could, you know, if he's willing to come off the bench, we could, you know, as a six man, we can bring off the bench and give us some, you know, scoring punch and instant offense, you know, with the second unit. But I think he still, you know, wants to be a starter and still wants to get paid a pretty good contract. And I think the Celtics are limited in terms of their cap space, particularly since, you know, that they have that Kemba Walker contract still in the books. So I don't think, you know, he'd come here, but I mean, if he's willing to, you know, sacrifice and take less, I wouldn't mind seeing the Celtics make that move.
I mean, for me, like, listen, if it's a question of Kemba, who I love, like, yo, ship him out, give us DeRozan, you know what I mean? But let me tell you though, because he doesn't have to come off the bench. He can start, because you can start three wings, you know, as starters. Like Gordon Hayward was doing the same thing. You know what I mean?
Who's running point, John?
who's running point, I mean, you could have Marcus Smart on the point.
I don't know if I'd want him to be the starter. I like Marcus Smart coming off the bench.
I don't know. Pritchard could be serviceable. We could definitely trade for somebody as well. You know what I mean? That's like a Ricky Rubio or something like that, like a facilitator to come in. I mean, I like Kemba, but lately it just hasn't been Kemba, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Ooh, how about this one? I just started this one. How about Alonzo Ball?
Dude, I would take Lonzo Ball because he's a facilitator. You know what I'm saying?
Like he fit really well with JT and JB.
And he's scoring well now, as you know what I'm saying. Also,
right, he's got a shot now too. He can shoot it a little bit.
DeMar DeRozan's still dropping 38 points in games, so it's like, dude, bring him in. You know what I mean? Like we could definitely have 3 wing players. I don't think that would take away from a Jason Tatum or a Jaylen Brown.
But it didn't really work out when they had 3 wing players when Hayward was here.
Yeah, I think so.
Tried to make that work, and it just really wasn't working out.
I think it worked when Gordon Hayward was healthy and capable, because he was our best facilitator, man, like hands down. Like, look what happened now. There's nobody actually looking for other people. You know what I'm saying? That's why, we're getting turnovers. We're not putting people in the right spots. Like Gordon Hayward was doing all of that at his position, in the wing. That's why they let him bring the ball up, each time, even with Marcus on the floor. You know what I'm saying? So, somebody has to be the facilitator. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely what we need to bring in, as well as a capable center. A bigger center, because we do have a capable center in Robert Williams, and Tristan Thompson's not bad either. But we'll see what happens. I didn't mean to get into Celtics talk, because
yeah, I know we intentionally did that. I know that's crazy.
Yeah,
we
man.
Can't help it. We're Celtics fans.
Okay, not to talk Celtics, but a former Celtics, IT made his debut for the Pelicans against the Hawks, and he scored 8 straight points. For the team, and I think he left that game with like 10 points. He came out hot. Was getting buckets immediately, like IT does. I think he said he was not just 100%, he's 108% back. You know what I mean?
Wow, 108. I see.
Yeah. But I mean, I seen that, and I'm like, could we have used them off the bench?
Yeah. Barry was mentioning that a couple of weeks ago, and you shut him down.
I did. I was like, man, I don't want to hear about it, because we've been hearing about it since, he got traded.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That would have been a nice addition and a nice piece to have on that bench. And exactly, add some scoring, because we don't got any scoring off the bench. So,
well, listen,
he could have helped.
He's only on a 10-day contract, so we could. I know he's only on a 10 days, so we could have a chance, down the line somewhere. I don't know.
If they don't give him another 10-day contract, or sign him for the rest of the season.
He's coming in, making an impact instantly.
Immediately, yeah.
Why would they let him go now?
That's true.
Who knows? You never know, Vlad. You never know.
Why did they bring him in the first place? Did somebody down? Like,
I don't know, but probably the same reason the Celtics need him. Bench scoring. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that. And I think also Lonzo Ball's been in and out of the lineup and been banged up with injuries as well. So I think they wanted some more depth at the guard position. So I think that's part of the reason why they decided to bring him in and give him a chance.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
I think that if the what's the rookie's name that we have?
Pritchard.
If Pritchard wasn't playing well, I think we probably would have brought him in. But Pritchard is playing so well that I think Danny was like, okay, what we would have gotten from IT, we're getting from Pritchard. Even though IT is better, obviously, but
that's scoring.
Yeah, but
that's about it.
But I think they're satisfied with what Pritchard is doing. So
yeah,
right. They didn't want to cut into his minutes too much.
Right. Actually, my brother said to bring him in too. My brother Roos, Free Roos, he was like, "Yo, bring in IT," and I shut him down too. I'm like, "Please shut up," like.
Damn, John.
And now I'm
Oh
like,
man.
maybe we should have brought him in.
I know he's second guessing that now.
Yeah, a little bit. We'll see. It's we'll see. Alex
It's early,
Rodriguez.
yeah.
Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, former, baseball player, sure to be a Hall of Fame, player soon. And somebody named Mark Lore, I don't know who that is. They're buying
That's like a close friend of his. That's his man's pretty much.
Right,
His right-hand man.
Billionaires known billionaires. So Mark Lore, whatever he does, they're buying the Timberwolves for $1.5 billion.
That's right.
So new ownership for the Timberwolves. We'll see how that changes. But I think it's interesting.
That's fucked up though, because Kevin Garnett was trying to buy the team for a long time now, and they basically, I don't remember exactly what happened, but him and the Timberwolves owner gave the Timberwolves to his son, and Kevin Garnett was trying to buy it. And then I think the son and Kevin Garnett didn't see eye to eye, and then now he's selling to A-Rod. What the fuck? Like you have Kevin Garnett, a long time Timberwolves. He stayed with the Timberwolves for way longer than he should have. Like if he had
he did.
If he had left the Timberwolves early, he would have won multiple championships. And then he came back at the end of his career to the Timberwolves, and he's the perfect guy that should have bought it. I'm not happy with A-Rod getting the opportunity to buy it over Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett should have been the main guy to buy that team.
Well, leave it to Vlad to inform us, because I didn't know that extensively, the story behind that. But I would definitely agree with that. But these things happen, and now Alex Rodriguez is the owner. He's going to be signing the papers to become the owner.
Imagine how great it would have been. Kevin Garnett, old, Timberwolves, owner of the Timberwolves now. That's amazing. Like,
listen, man.
It would have been a great story. Absolutely.
Sometimes loyalty will bite you in the ass, and it's like, it's one of those situations where it's like, I was so loyal to you guys. Like, these things should be like a no-brainer. Shoot, I would have sold them the team for less. You know what I mean?
I don't know about all that, but money is money. So I don't know about all that.
Vlad said, I want my cut, man. I want all my money. I want all my coins.
I would have worked something out with him, but I don't know about less money. But that's
a hometown discount.
But if you think about it, it's like 1.5 million. That's like on the cheap.
That's cheap. 1.5 billion. That's cheap for a team nowadays.
Because most team nowadays is 2, 3, 4. Like the Patriot is almost 5 billion. Like the Knicks is like 5 billion or 8 billion or something crazy. So
yep.
That's a cheap team to buy, and that's a pretty good team to buy for cheap, and you can turn it into something.
Well, I think they're also in the small market. They're not, in a big, market like Boston or New York or LA or something like that. So I think that had an effect and an impact as far as how much they, charge the, Alex Rodriguez and his partner,
but if it was
to buy the team.
Whether it's a small market or not, if you have a team that's playing well, that's winning, like you can sell that team for a lot of money. Like when Oklahoma City was winning, like you could have sold that team for way more than one. Like when they had KD,
and Russ,
and Harden. That's a small market. That's a small market, but you're not selling that team for 1.5 billion. You're not even selling that team at all.
Well, yeah, it's because they have the superstars. Like you just said, the Timberwolves don't have the superstars yet.
They're just not a good team right now, so maybe they can turn them into a.
Timberwolves don't have stars. They got Anthony Edwards.
They got
D'Angelo Russell. They got Cat.
I'm saying they don't have superstars. They have stars and all stars, but not like superstar players like the caliber of KD, Harden, or Russ. That's what I was saying. Anthony
Edwards is gonna be special, man.
Yeah,
he can
ball, man. He can hoop.
he looked really good.
And he's bigger than
he
everybody
did.
already. Like
He
the kid's like 19.
He dunked on Smart on
Mm.
the Celtics game, and I was like, damn.
Yeah,
Nah.
shoot.
It's like,
He dunked on pretty good. Yes. Yeah, definitely. He caught a body, to say the least. Yeah, he was balling that game. That guy can play.
He can play, man. And lastly, for the NBA, Patrick Beverley will be out pretty much for the rest of the season because he's having surgery on his hand. I don't know what happened to his hand. Do you guys know?
Barry.
So apparently I think he ended up fracturing it in their last game against the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
So in 7, that's why he had to undergo the surgery and get that done. So yeah, that's pretty much what had happened with Pat Bev.
That brings Rajon Rondo into the starting lineup, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's going to be the starter now.
I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be all right with Rondo.
Yeah, they should be fine. Right. If anything, they'll probably be, they'll be better, more offensively.
They probably do better. Yeah, for sure. Facilitating and stuff. So that's some NBA updates for you guys. Some Celtics news. Their upcoming games. They're going to be playing the Nuggets on the 11th, and then the Blazers. The 11th is the Sunday, so they're going to be playing them. The Blazers the 13th, the Lakers the 15th, and the Warriors the 17th. So they're taking it out west. On the West Coast trip. So that should be something to look at.
Well, that Warriors game is actually in Boston.
Is it?
Yeah.
When is that? They're coming back?
So, yeah, that's when they come back. That's their first game back from that road trip. Those first 3 games are, out west.
Out west.
Saturdays and the TD Garden.
Yep. They've played a couple games since the last podcast. I know, I think we were on Facebook. Somebody was talking about, they were talking about the games that happened like a few days ago. I'm like, well, duh, we discuss what happened throughout the week. It's a weekly podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want breaking news, go to ESPN. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? We're here to talk about the Celtics and what the Celtics are going through. You know what I mean? Like, it's like weird stuff.
Facts, for real.
Like, you weirdos.
Right.
So they played a couple of games. So they played the 76ers. They lost that game. That's a game I think we all wanted them to win because they've gotten swept again by the Sixers. I think this is their second year in a row. They've gotten swept by the Sixers in the regular season.
Yeah.
And then the Celtics have switched it on them in the postseason. I don't know about this year though. The way the Sixers are looking.
The way the Sixers are looking, and the way the Celtics are looking.
Exactly. And with Doc Rivers sitting on the Sixers bench over there, so that should be.
But guys, you know how Doc Rivers is in the playoffs, though, and you know how the Sixers are in the playoffs. So I get that they're healthy and they're a different team, and they're playing very well. But you never know. That's why they play the game. So
another 3-1 comeback.
I don't know about that.
Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't go as far as that. I'm hoping that the Celtics don't get down 3-1 in that series. But shoot, I mean, that could happen. I mean, it's
happened twice
possible.
already. It's happened twice already.
Right. Happened, believe 3 times in Doc Rivers' career. So
yeah.
That's certainly a possibility.
For sure. So they lost 106-96. It was a game. They were down. They came back, but they couldn't make it all the way back. And then they won against the Knicks 101-99. That was a game they were down as well, but they fought their way back. And they played with a sense of urgency. The Timberwolves came to town as well and won that game 145-136 when they were down as much as 17 points in that game. So they fought their way back again. So how you guys feel about the last couple of games we played? Does having fans in the stands make a difference, you guys think?
Well, we just talked about the Sixers game. which they lost, and the Sixers are a way better team, and the Celtics didn't look too good against them. And I was hoping they would put up a much better fight, but they didn't. Against the Knicks, that was actually, I thought, one of the best games of the season as far as the way the Celtics came back. I feel as though usually when they're down like that, they could have lost that game easily, and not be able to come back, but they actually fought their way back into the game. The Knicks played very physical, and the Celtics responded to that physicality, and that was like pretty impressive. Actually, I was very impressed by that win.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Against the Timberwolves, that was a terrible game by the Celtics. Like, this is one of the worst teams in the NBA, and you're down 17 points to one of the worst teams in the NBA, and you let them score 136 points on you. Like, that's unbelievable. You should never have to go into overtime to beat that team. You should never let that team go over 100 points on you. It was a win, and that was great. It was Jason Tatum most best game statistically.
Stats-wise, yep.
Stats-wise.
Right.
But it was a bad game for the Celtics. Like, I couldn't believe some of the defense that I was seeing. A lot of time, the Timberwolves were going down, and there was nobody playing defense in the paint, and they were just going down and scoring very easily. And especially, what's the rookie's name? Edwards?
Anthony Edwards.
Edwards. This dude was man in the paint. Like, there's nobody blocking him, nobody stopping him. He could do whatever he wants in there. Cat was doing whatever he wants in there. D'Angelo also was scoring threes everywhere. Like, that game had no defense whatsoever. Both teams didn't play any defense, but the worst team is the Timberwolves. We already knew they weren't going to play any defense, but the Celtics should have been playing defense. I mean, I know we won that game, but to me, that was not a good game to watch. It wasn't a game that I was really excited that they won. It was cool seeing Jason Tatum do what he does, but he did it against the worst team in the league. So, to me...
You think the fans made a difference?
I think the fans are making a difference. I can, especially when I'm watching, I can tell like the fans are into it. They're cheering, and you can see the players paying attention to the fans being there. It's a little different. It makes it more exciting. I definitely do think it makes a difference, especially against the Knicks. The Knicks game, I thought that was a good game to watch and seeing the fans into it. But the Celtics still haven't done anything to impress me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's certainly been an interesting week for the Celtics, to say the least. Started off really bad with the Sixers game. That was just complete domination from start to finish by the Sixers. They had no answer for Joel Embiid. Time Lord played his worst game, that I've seen him play, and got in early foul trouble. And pretty much once that happened, they were pretty much screwed at that point. And Ben Simmons also had his way getting into the paint, and either finishing at the rim or creating for others. And then it was even when they tried to double team Embiid and and force the ball out of his hands, their shooters were making shots. Danny Green finally learned how to hit an open jump shot now. Seth Curry was hitting jump shots as well. I mean, since he's a shooter, those are both shooters. So I mean, that's what you expect from those guys. And the Celtics really just didn't fight back. And I also thought Jaylen Brown had a really bad game that game too. Like, particularly defensively, guys were just like scoring on him too easily and just getting to wherever they wanted to, and getting right by him way too easily without any resistance. It was just weird because he's such a really good defensive player, and he's been known for that throughout his career so far, and for him to just like not really play well on defense and to be a liability and scored on easily was just kind of like awkward to watch. So, but he wasn't the only one that had a bad game. I think mostly everyone really besides Jason Tatum had a pretty tough game that night, and it just the score doesn't do due diligence. They definitely were lucky to only lose that game by 10. They felt like they lost by at least 20. But getting to the other two games, the Knicks game and the Timberwolves game, I like what I saw in the Knicks game. We saw them, like you said, that play with that physicality, that toughness, that energy and intensity. They were able to match that. From the Knicks, because they certainly were the team that hit first and and got out to that lead, and the Celtics were able to hit back and respond to that and show some resiliency. I think it was big that they were able to have Tristan Thompson, who came back in that game. He certainly, I thought, in the minutes he was on the court, played well and contributed and was big in terms of bringing that physicality and toughness that they had. So I thought he certainly played well, and that was contagious as far as the rest of the team being able to bring that as well. So that was certainly, I think, one of their best wins without question. You could even say that was probably the best win of the year, because that was a game that they certainly was big for them, in the standings, and they had to be able to win and keep up, with the teams that are ahead of them, in the standings. And then the Timberwolves game, it was a sloppy game. For like a lot of turnovers, a lot of ugly basketball. Yeah. That's true. Even the Knicks game was sloppy as well with turnovers, but this was even more sloppy against a team that's not very good defensively and that doesn't really play any defense. So I was really surprised about that. Luckily they were able to fight their way back, and and Jason Tatum went off and was cooking, and guys made plays and hit some big shots. Like Kemba Walker hit some big shots. As well as the other guys contributed when they had their opportunities. So I think it was a win. It was a win for them. But you're right, I'm not really impressed and too happy with that one. Kind of like what Vlad was saying, just because it was a lot of ugly basketball, particularly in that game. That it really can't really take too much from that. But I was happy for Jason Tatum and his 53 points and him playing the way he did besides the turnovers. I thought that's something that we'd like to see more often from him, and being that aggressive and driving to the basket and getting into the paint. That's what we want to see more of, instead of him settling for outside.
Do you think the
shots.
fans have made a difference?
Yeah, I do. I think the fans have made a difference. Definitely in the New York game, I think they made a difference, and again, giving the team more energy and giving them a boost. I think since I was like a tough, hard-fought, defensive, minded kind of game. So I think certainly in that game they had an impact. I think they also had a little bit of an impact as well in the Timberwolves game, particularly, once it got to, overtime, and I think they kind of helped the team get back and rally in the second half from that big deficit that they have. So I think that they've been a factor, particularly in the last couple of games, and has helped the team, secure the wins that they have, against the Timberwolves and the Knicks.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the next game, since watching the 76ers, that we probably wouldn't win any of the other games that was coming up, just based on the way we played. We're looking at Jaylen Brown, who's definitely cooled down since the All-Star break. Before the All-Star break, he was on fire, pretty much from the jump, from the start of the season, where people were talking about he's the the best player on the team. You know what I'm saying? Like that was definitely a conversation, and he was deservedly so. But since then, he's definitely cooled down, a bit there. The Celtics, man, their health has been pretty bad. It's been like pretty inconsistent. Everybody in there has had some kind of issue. Jalen's missed time, Marcus has missed time, Peyton Pritchard's missed time, Tristan Thompson, and now Fournier is missing some time. With COVID-19, it seems like, we just can't we can't have that full team that we need to actually excel in the league right now. But the last couple of games, I'm glad that we were able to pull them out because these are games that we need. We need to win as many games for the rest of the season, to positioning ourselves in a place where we can actually compete and get far into the postseason. We've seen the Celtics definitely go far when we thought they wasn't going to do much. But I don't know about this year because, the East is just that strong this year. Imagine, getting matched up with like a Milwaukee first round. That's
it'd be tough. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like imagine, matching up with the Nets first round. Like if you're not working to better your position, like we need as many games as we can for the rest of the season because
right. You don't want to be playing any of those top 3 teams in the first round at all. In the playoffs, you want to be in that 4-5 range. I feel like that's the best possible match
to avoid somebody first round, man. Like,
exactly.
So let me ask you guys a question. So out of the teams that are possibly making the playoffs this year, which one do you guys want to face in the first round?
I'd face the Hornets the first round. You know what I'm saying? I'd face Indiana first round if they are still in it right now.
They're ninth place right now.
So they're not in it right now.
Yeah, they're behind us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I definitely face them right now. So who else? You got the Hawks. I'd face the Hawks right now. I don't know if I want to face the Heat. I don't even know if I want to face the Knicks, man. Like right now,
it's a bad year when you don't want to face the Knicks.
Right, for real. Oh, but
listen,
the really Knicks just said that they shouldn't want to play the Knicks in the first round.
I can't believe the Hornets. I can't believe the Hornets are in 4th place right now.
I think that's soon to change, though. That they'll fall back down to earth. I think that's gonna change pretty soon.
I mean, right now, what they got 27 wins. Oh, we got 27 wins too. So we're behind by like 2 games, a game and a half or something like that. So it can switch pretty quickly. But at the same time, like we need to win. And like I said in our last podcast, we haven't won more than 2 in a row, twice this year.
And we playing Denver today,
who has been winning all their previous games. I think they're like on a 6-game winning streak since they've traded for Aaron Gordon. So this is definitely going to be it's going to be a battle this year. Hopefully the team can get back healthy again. We saw Tristan Thompson come back. Romeo Langford had his first appearance as a starter in the lineup. I think he's worked hard enough on the defensive end. And like I was saying, Romeo Langford plays the wing, and now we got 3 wing players starting, So, back to the whole DeRozan thing, it can certainly happen on this team. Like we were saying earlier, Evan Fournier is out on COVID protocol, and Jason Tatum scored his career high, 53 points, 10 rebounds, but he had a couple of turnovers, wasn't like his best complete game, but one of his highest scoring game out there. And I heard Vlad mention that he did it against the worst team, which brings me to like this. I think there's a fake tweet out there, like a fake Jason Tatum tweet. I don't know. Maybe he has a burner account. Like KD. I don't know.
God.
That pretty much says.
All those guys have burner accounts, right?
They do.
They do. I believe it. I believe that.
Yeah, and pretty much like I think the tweet was along the lines like, Celtics fans are like so ungrateful. It's like, you get your career high you know what I mean, you put up that instead of celebrating it, what they're gonna tell you is it's like against the worst team in the league, and that it took overtime to do it, and I think it's like a fake tweet.
It's all facts though.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I think it's a fake tweet, but at the same time, I'm like, there's no lie there.
It's all
but we should still be giving him credit for 53
we
points.
That's what I'm saying.
Points.
That's what I'm saying.
We did give him credit. We just have to make sure to let him know that it was against the worst team. It wasn't an impressive win at all. It was a great statistical game, but
do you think the Boston Stars get a harder time, regardless what they're doing?
No, I definitely don't think so. I think the Celtics get a pass compared to all the teams in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
The Celtics get the most pass, to be honest. Like, the Celtics haven't won anything for a long time. They've won one championship in the last 30 years. They won one championship. And I think they get the most pass as far as team goes. Like, the Red Sox have won like 4 championships. The
Patriots just won in 18.
We don't even have to talk about the Patriots. And the Bruins, I mean, obviously
they just won a couple too.
They won one.
They won one, but they've been to 3 at least. So I'll give them that. They've been to 3 cups.
The Celtics is the most underachieving team we have in the city, and they get the most pass. Like, they've been doing great all these years, but they really haven't been that great, to be honest. So I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree with Vlad. I think right there, fan base, or the green teamers, as we like to call them,
as
think
Felger calls them.
Yeah,
Green
right,
teamers.
exactly. Yeah, Michael Felger certainly refers to them as that. I think you're right. They've certainly always, been willing to make excuses for the team, and and always been trying to defend them in any way that they can, and never holding them accountable, never calling them out, and never them like being frustrated and upset at the team. I think the only year in which they did that was the Kyrie's last year, when the team wasn't playing well at all, playing up to expectations. But besides that year, I think every year they've always been like content with how the team's playing, even if they're not playing well, and and not playing up to expectations. So the green teamers are soft. Let's just call it what it is. Like, it's a soft fan base, and they don't really criticize these guys, and in the way they should, and don't really like get these guys attention much. So that's what it is, because everyone else is, the fan base is willing to criticize and call people out on those teams and hold them accountable, and green teamers just are not about that.
I don't know. Nevertheless, I thought it was a good question.
No, that is a good question. I like that question.
Yeah, I don't know if Jason Tatum has the burner account, but Vlad and Barry says, Jason, suck it up, man, and do this against the Lakers or somebody.
When Devin Booker scored 73, it was against us, and we were a really good team at the time.
He scored 73 or 70?
It was 70. 70.
Yeah, 70. Yeah,
that's crazy. He really dropped 70.
It was more than 70.
No, it was 70.
It was 70.
You can look that up. It was 70.
It was 70?
Yeah, it was 70.
Yeah, it was.
I remember it. I remember that time.
I remember that game too.
Because what's his name? Crawford?
Jamal Crawford?
No.
Jordan Crawford? Or?
No,
that's not his name. I know who he's talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. The dude with the dreads, the one that was upset about...
His name is not Crawford.
Oh, Crowder. Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder. Yeah.
When he basically told Devin Booker, you didn't win the game, though. Booker's like, dude, like, what did you do in this game? Like,
yeah, he told Booker told Crowder, he was like, bro, you can't guard me.
You can't guard me, bro.
Just gave you buckets. I just gave you 70 to your head.
70 piece, you, bro.
Every time he plays the Celtics, too, he
Oh, he makes sure to give us the business, bro.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think last time he
Facts.
called like 30 or if not 40 or something. Like he doesn't play with the Celtics.
He has
Yeah,
he has that Kobe complex with us. You know how Kobe always try to bust the Knicks' ass.
Yeah.
You know, he he makes sure to to come through ready for us every time. He's actually one of my
facts.
favorite players for real. D Book, man, don't play with D Book.
Yes. Wet like book, as Drake says.
Yes, sir. So another thing,
Drake said, "Well, hold up." Drake said, "What?"
wet like
Wet
book.
like book.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah, like what jump shot? You don't remember that line in Sicko Mode with him and Travis Scott?
yeah.
I get it now. It's just
He was
Okay.
thinking something else.
I was
I'm
confused.
glad you got that bar. Okay, that's true. Yeah, I'm surprised he thought of something else and not basketball related.
Let's move past this. Another question for you guys, right? A question from Karen's from Boston, Mass. Is Danny scared to hire a center through free agency because of Shaq? That's an interesting question, and thank you for submitting the question.
What's his name, Barry?
I think
Clarence.
Clarence. I thought it said Karen's. It's Clarence. So I think he.
my guy. Shout out Clarence. Thanks for sending the question, brother.
Commented on our YouTube, which is youtube.com/profansports. Make sure you subscribe again. So is Danny Ainge scared to hire a center through free agency because of Shaq? That's an interesting question to me. I'm like,
I don't think so.
Where did that come from?
Well, basically, he got Shaq one of those years with the big three, and that didn't work out.
Right, because Shaq was injured a lot.
Yeah, but Shaq was old.
He was
at
old.
the
he was right.
We were the last team he played on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. Yeah, he retired
so that was his
after.
last.
Right.
So exactly. So I'm not gonna buy that. I think Danny Ainge should be ashamed of trading Perkins. We would have won that championship.
And we haven't. Right.
We would have won that championship if we didn't trade Perkins.
That's true. That's true that year.
So
But
yeah,
wasn't
I don't think he has anything to do with Shaq. I'm not sure why he doesn't want to do it, but it has nothing to do with Shaq.
I mean,
but Vlad, quick question. So, but that wasn't that LeBron's first year in Miami when we
No.
traded
That was when we lost against Kobe the second time. The second time we played against Kobe, we lost.
Yeah, but Perkins played and he got hurt in Game 6.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
So
okay,
I think that must have been LeBron's first year in Miami. So I think that I agree they should have kept Perkins and shouldn't have traded him. But I don't think they would have beaten the.
We would have. We would have. We were up 3-2.
Yeah, and then look what happened.
And
LeBron
we were up
happened.
3-2. So I think we could have won if we had Perkins. Yeah,
because Perkins was our defensive anchor.
Yeah, if we were up 3-2, we were playing Game 6, and I was like, "Yo, let's go. We got to beat them in Game 6." And then LeBron became LeBron.
LeBron went off.
That was literally like I was like, "Wow, okay, LeBron is something." Like before that, I didn't have no respect for him, but after that, I was like, "Okay."
Right. I think that's when he arrived officially, and he became the best player in the league. Right when he had that game in particular,
he was the best player in the league, regardless.
No, but I think he turned his game, changed his game, and brought it to another level once he got that. Like now, he figured out
he learned how to win
in crunch time and like big. Like pressure, like games.
You mean that's when he became a complete player?
Right. You could say that. Right. Yeah. Right. He became more of a pre-player and an actual winner, knowing how to win against good actual teams in competition.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, do you think Danny's scared to bring in free agent centers?
I don't know. That's a tough and interesting question. Because he hasn't really signed any centers after Shaq. I know he signed out Horford to that big deal.
He signed Horford. He signed Aaron Baines. He signed Enes Kanter.
Right.
He's definitely signed free agent centers. It just hasn't been like the big names that we all want him to go after because of the positions we've been in.
Or actual players that can play.
Well, Horford could play. Horford was
Horford
good
played.
with us.
Horford played.
Horford did well with us,
but we
man.
played him more on the 4 than the 5, so
That's why he wanted to
He was
play.
a stretch 4, right?
That's
why he wanted
that
to play.
position.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I'm saying. But he hasn't really gone after like a true 5 to like give us like a center. You know what I mean? Like an anchor.
I thought Aaron Baines was great when he was here, man.
I thought he played
we
well.
We shouldn't have let him go.
I was happy with Aaron Baines. I wouldn't say great, but he played well. I think great is definitely an overstatement. That's a big overstatement to say the least.
Baines started busting threes with us. You know what I mean? Before that, he never hit anything in his career.
The word great is over there and Baines is over here, my dude. Like, they never met, my dude. Like,
he's gassing him up. He hyped him up big time on that. But he certainly played well in his role.
I like Baines.
Aaron Baines. So to answer that question, no, I don't think he's scared to find or to
We've
hire,
also drafted some big men too.
Yeah, like Time Lord Williams, he drafted. Who's turning out to be a pretty good player and is getting better. So I don't agree with that, question that he's scared to sign, centers because, he has signed, centers, and some of them have played well, as we just named. He just, like you said, hasn't signed that, like, franchise, like, starting, like, center that is gonna, be the guy for a long time. We're hoping that's the case with Robert Williams, but, time will only tell. With that, he still has a ways to go, as we saw this week. But but yeah, he doesn't look like he's scared to sign those guys. He just unfortunately hasn't had the best luck in keeping those guys around and and finding the right one to stick around long term.
I mean, he's Trader Danny, right?
Supposedly
he's
that's
not that.
But
remember,
like that as of late. But supposedly,
Vlad told us drop that nickname.
Yeah,
you don't be trading for nothing.
But I wanted to say, like, I think this year for the Celtics is the growing pain year. Like, sometimes you're growing and you're getting better, but like you hit like this
a wall,
and then you have to get through that wall. So I don't want to talk about next year quite yet, but I really think like this is gonna humble the guys because I think some of them thought they were a lot better than they were going into this year. I thought and they've gone to the Eastern Conference 3 out of the 4 years, so I feel as though they like, they felt big-headed. They could just come in and be good again. So I think this is gonna humble all of them. I think next year is gonna be a different team, and also Time Lord I think is gonna make a good improvement because he's gonna be starting. He's gonna have that confidence. I can't wait for. It's so sad to say, but I can't wait for next year. Because I'm
Vlad sees
he's
the
already
future.
Riding this year off. Like,
Vlad sees the future.
I mean, if you think about it, it's not that I'm riding this year off. It's like I want us to win, and can we win this year? I'm gonna watch the games. I'm gonna watch the games. I'm gonna watch the playoffs, but I'm not expecting much.
Right. No, I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
No, it's definitely understandable for sure. No,
yeah, man.
That's a realistic point of view. I like that, Vlad.
Yeah, for sure. Clarence, man, thanks for the questions for sure.
Yeah, thanks again, Clarence. Appreciate you, brother.
And y'all keep commenting on these videos on YouTube, and please subscribe.
Feel free.
Hit the bell notification. Make sure you're aware when the videos drop. Now we're gonna pivot into the NFL. you know, where there's some news going on as always, because we know NFL now is kind of like a, you know, 365-day-a-year sport, you know what I mean? Because there's always something happening over there. Trades, you know, hirings, you know, signings, you know, women breaking the ref barrier, coaching barrier. They always got something going on, you know.
Yeah, then
Players,
the draft as well.
the draft,
Right.
players that are coming back from injuries, you know, the players that are getting together to practice already. It's beautiful stuff. So let's get into it. The NFLPA is urging players not to attend any in-team organized person workouts. NFLPA wants all virtual off-season workout program, which we saw how that worked out last year for
Oh,
some
damn.
teams.
They're trying to do virtual this year again, like last year. Oh, damn. That's a bad hit.
Yeah, it's definitely something. But at the same time, Roger Goodell expects to have full stadiums for the upcoming season, which kind of like doesn't, you know.
Doesn't correlate.
The NFL wants to have in-person workouts. The NFLPA doesn't want to have in-person workouts. So
Okay.
the players want to stay home, but the NFL wants them
Wait, the players want to stay home?
Yeah, the NFLPA.
Right, they don't want to be in the gym working and in the weight room.
It's so you know how every team hold voluntary workout programs.
Yep.
The NFLPA just the players don't want to attend that because they can just work at home. They can just do whatever they want at home.
Football doesn't work like that.
Exactly.
That's what they've been doing this year. That's what they did last year, and they just don't want to do that this year.
Players were getting together last year.
Regardless of what we were saying.
I mean, you're not, and you're not understanding. So the players will get together.
The teams.
They don't want to go to the teams. Like they can go to LA and work out. They can go to Miami and
they don't
work
want to
out.
go to the team.
They just
facility.
don't want to go to the team and work out. So the NFLPA is letting them know, you don't have to attend those voluntary workouts, but the NFL teams want them to come and attend them.
I mean, that stuff is very interesting to me. I mean, so with the players going through all this stuff, the COVID protocols, you know, if you're one of the players, like, would you be lining up for the vaccine? Because to me, that seems like a lot of crap I wouldn't want to deal with. You know what I mean? If I want to perform in tip-top shape.
Are you asking me would I get the vaccine, or you asking
if you were a player, would you consider getting the vaccine?
Of course, I would 100%. I mean, I think everybody should get the vaccine, but I know a lot of players don't feel that way, and a lot of players are against the vaccine. So,
but if you were a player, you'd take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, certainly if I was playing the NFL, and I had to, put, myself at, risk, by going to the team facility, I'd certainly would, consider and lean towards taking the vaccine, myself, to make sure that, I was as safe as I could be, and, so, their families as well, that they go, home to, every night after their, workouts and, team activities that they do in the off season. So you'd also want to, make the best decision and do what's, best for yourself and for your family, and also for your teammates as well that you're around, because you don't want it to spread across the whole team as well, like we've seen last year, with multiple teams having COVID outbreaks. So I think, you definitely would have to, if you were a player, you definitely have to really give it a good deep thought and take it if you have the chance and opportunity to do so.
Yeah, that's a fact. Me personally, if I'm a player, I'd take it as soon as it was available to me, because I'm around a lot of other people all the time, regardless if I'm working out, in San Diego or Nevada or wherever, we still got to come together and play these games. You still got dudes sweating and bleeding on me and shit like that. So listen, give me the damn shot. You know what I'm saying? I heard somebody like a Tristan Thompson, from the Celtics, who just came back from COVID-19 protocols, say, that the timeout was like he battled with that stuff for like 12 days. You know what I mean? And as soon as it was available to him, it was going to be made available, which brings me to question, like, should this stuff be available to like players? Because at the end of the day, I know somebody like me who works in education, I'm going to be pushed to the front of the line, right? Because I work with other people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I know the NFL, it's a job too. Shouldn't that be, a reason that they get to be some of the first people to get that?
No, they have no reason to be the first person because one, they're athletes and they're usually pretty healthy. The ones that are not healthy can be up front of the line, but they're athletes. They're pretty healthy. They're pretty young. They have no reason to take it ahead of a 74-year-old grandma or a policeman or a firefighter or a nurse or anything like that. I think they should wait their turn, which is coming pretty soon. It should be. Yep. I think their turn should be coming either by the end of April or beginning of May or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just have way too many important people that need the vaccine that will only survive if they have the vaccine, that we just cannot put players first. Like there's no reason why they need it first before the people that actually will survive won't survive if they don't take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly in agreement with Vlad on that. Definitely brings up a really good point that there's far more important people, in our society, that need the vaccine more than than professional athletes do, because those guys are for the most part in tip-top shape and really good shape and take care of themselves and don't really have too many health issues that they need to be concerned about. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more people like senior citizens and first responders, as they refer them, and even the essential workers as well, that are putting themselves at risk day in and day out out there to get the vaccine before professional athletes.
So you're in agreement with Vlad.
Yeah, no,
and
absolutely.
I think
absolutely.
For me, I think that's the same thing for me too. I think Vlad makes a great point for sure. So I'm not even gonna opine on that. That's where we go with that. That's why they shouldn't be taking this stuff, ahead of everybody else. So I think that
right, they'll get their turn and get their chance to take
soon
it
enough,
when the time
soon
comes.
Enough.
Right.
So more NFL updates. The Falcons, they are intending to trade their fourth pick. Well, they're trying to, and I can imagine they're trying to get a haul for that pick, and that's going to affect a lot of people because it's the number 4th pick. There are some quarterback needy teams out there, including the Patriots, that might be interested in packaging something to send their way. So we'll keep you updated on when that changes. That could be sometime tonight, or it could be sometimes right before the draft. So we'll let you guys know. The Panthers are allowing Teddy Bridgewater to talk to other teams for a potential trade. So they just got Sam Darnold, from the Jets, and they're going to go with him as the starter already, which I kind of question because I feel like Teddy Bridgewater has a way better resume than Sam Darnold. But
of course,
hey, that's how the word.
But he's younger. He hasn't been injured yet, so that's why they're trying to go with him. But I don't
has more upside too. I think the team, is potential, and it could be better with Sam Darnold as opposed to Teddy Bridgewater. They think he can, take them further into that next level if Darnold plays, the way that he's capable of playing.
I disagree, but that's what they think, obviously.
Yeah, I think I disagree too. I mean, he's the guy that saw ghosts during the game, so I don't know. You know,
Oh,
and
that's true. He did see ghosts. Those
they they
Ghostbusters.
do they do have what's his name, Kenny Moore. I think that's his name.
No,
The wide
DJ
receiver,
Moore
DJ Moore, and
and
they
Robbie
have
Anderson.
Robbie Anderson, who played with Sam Darnold. They got CMC. You know,
Yes, sir.
you got some good stuff right there. The Panthers also pick, I believe, the number 8th pick. So would you guys draft another quarterback to compete, or go with Sam Darnold?
Well, you just traded for Sam Darnold. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're necessarily looking for another quarterback right now. I mean, you're definitely bringing backups and stuff, but what they should do is have Sam Darnold compete against
Teddy
Teddy
Bridgewater.
Bridgewater. And I mean, I'm a Teddy. I've always been a Teddy Bridgewater fan.
Mm-hmm.
His injury obviously set him back. I thought he played well with the New Orleans Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was his first year with the Panthers, and I think it wasn't the best year, obviously.
It's his first year.
And I'm not sure how much well he's gonna be, but I'm a big fan, and I would like him to be in a situation where he can succeed. I definitely think he's better than Sam Darnold. I think he has better decision making. He throws a nice ball and
Accurate.
he's accurate. So I personally think he's better than Sam Darnold, and I would never trade for Sam Darnold. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Nah, we'll see what happens for sure.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick point. I actually do disagree, with Vlad. And I get and understand, the points you guys made about Sam Darnold, but you guys have to also remember who the team and the coach that Sam Darnold just played for. He just played for pretty much the worst coach in the NFL in football, and Adam Gase, and as the guys I like to call the quarterback destroyer. And this guy cannot coach, to save his life, and is not qualified to be a head coach and coach any quarterback or team in the NFL. So I think Sam Darnold is actually a better quarterback than a lot of people think. And I think in the right, system,
So
in the right team, he can, actually play. Because look at Ryan Tannehill. Like,
how
Ryan
come the
Tannehill was
Jets didn't
coached
think so?
with Adam Gase, and we saw how trash he was in Miami. Now
Why are the Jets letting him go? Why'd the Jets trade him?
Because they're trying to draft this kid, Zach Wilson.
Do you think he's better than Zach Wilson?
Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
I think Zach Wilson has more, upside and could be better. I think that Zach, Wilson has, all the tools to be a franchise starting quarterback, right out of the gate. So, and I think that's what the Jets see. And I think, by bringing him in, and giving them the team and having a new head coach, I think that's kind of where the Jets want to go, in the direction that they want to go. They feel like they could be best in that situation, and they already got a good amount of draft capital from that Sam Darnold trade that they can, use, obviously this year's draft and more next year's draft, since they got two top four, 2 picks in the, in the 4th round. Well, 1 4th round and 1 2nd round. So I think certainly this trade could, benefit both teams, but I think it could benefit the Panthers, more, and I think they can get a lot more out of Sam Darnold than what the Jets, were able to get out of him, with Adam Gase's trash of a coach. And you've even called him out, John, several times on this podcast and said how trash he is. So you already know, how bad of a coach Adam Gase is.
Yeah, I think I agree with both of you guys in different senses, right? In Barry's sense, I do think, Sam Darnold wasn't set up for, for success where he was at. That's right. Definitely obviously true. But at the same time, I think, like, what I'm saying, Teddy Bridgewater has a better resume. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes, like, I think for me, that's a big thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's games that Sam Darnold willed his team, back in the game or anything like that. I think the Jets kind of like messed up for trading him, to be honest with you, because if I have the number 2 pick, Sam Darnold has potential. We all know that, right? I mean, he was one of the top 3 quarterbacks picked just a couple years ago. And, I think if he was in this year's draft, he'd be like a top 3 quarterback again. So I think he definitely has potential. And if I'm the Jets, I would have traded that second pick, for more picks in the draft and surround him with something nice. You know what I'm saying? Move back in the draft and get him some weapons, some real weapons, get him some, a couple offensive linemen.
How many quarterback has the Jets?
Yo, they just keep going through them, man. It's like
that's like a quarterback carousel.
Geno Smith, Sam Darnold. Who else do they have?
Mark Sanchez.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Like they just keep. I don't
the
know.
list just goes
They didn't
on
draft
and on and on.
Fitzpatrick, did they?
Yeah, he was there. He
was there.
They
didn't draft him, but he.
No, he played for them. Yeah,
he played for them. He played.
They even had Tim Tebow, for crying out loud.
I'm just talking about the quarterback they drafted. Like you're putting so much capital into such an important.
You just
position.
did it a couple years ago.
It's such an important position, and they're never penning out, which is, man, it's crazy.
Listen, this Zach Wilson dude, I'll tell you, I didn't hear anything about him throughout the year. And then draft time comes, boom, Zach Wilson. I'm like, what did the guy do, in the league? You know what I'm saying? Like he was playing at BYU, and I don't think I've seen BYU in any of the bowl games. I don't know what was happening, but this guy, Zach Wilson, came out of nowhere, and that kind of scares me, man. Because he did play for a small school. I see the talent and stuff. But Sam Darnold already played in the league, and he's had some good seasons so far. I think they definitely should have taken into account, the last guy they had manning the ship, because he wasn't doing a good job at all. You know what I'm saying? But we'll move on from that right there. Taylor Gabriel, one of the guys that had one of the nastiest route runs. I mean, nastiest routes in the Super Bowl versus the Patriots, actually, where he tripped up. Who was it? Malcolm Butler?
Yep.
Yeah. That was a beautiful route.
He made him look stupid. You know what I'm saying? He's actually he's retired. He played 6 years in the league. I think he earned $18 million. He was an undrafted guy, came through, made his money, and he's like, I'll see you guys later. I got 18 mil. I'm out. I kind of
on to the next chapter of his life. So good for him.
One of the great sons, Thaddeus Moss, who is the son of Randy Moss, he was cut by the Washington football team this week, which is very surprising to me. He was a kid I thought the Patriots were going to draft, but then they drafted, what's his name? Keen and Asiasi. Yeah, Keen and Asiasi, who ain't done shit. So we'll see about that. Andy Reid tried to get Juju Smith-Schuster to the Chiefs, and he did that by texting, sending them a photo of the Lombardi trophy pretty much on a daily basis, which
that's funny.
That's an interesting.
That is hilarious.
I found that so. I like I like Andy Reid. I feel as though he's such like a laid back guy, but he's also like very smart and he loves food, and I don't know. He's just such an interesting character. And for him to pick up the phone and like, I'm gonna send him a picture of the Lombardi Trophy every day. I wonder if he takes different photos every day, or if it's the same picture every day. But like, I think that's just funny to me. But but yeah, I mean, I'm so surprised that Juju Smith-Schuster turned him down. Like I was saying to you guys, you get an opportunity to play with Patrick Mahomes. So little players will turn that opportunity down. I know I wouldn't turn that opportunity down. So I'm really surprised that he turned that opportunity down to go back to
play with Patrick, man, and you declined.
Yeah, and now he's playing with Big Ben, who has an arm for the arm that Big Ben has is only for 8 games. You know,
bro.
Right, he's pretty much washed up and done. Right,
you could be playing. You could be playing with Dwayne Haskins in 2 simple injuries. Like, like
I didn't even think of that, John, but you're right. That's true. That's facts.
listen, Dwayne Haskins could be your quarterback in 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. To me,
I think it's about loyalty. I think he's trying to be loyal to the Steelers, but in this league, man, this is a business, to be honest.
Yeah. Until the Steelers ship him out and for a trade. You know,
and also you're not gonna be good. Like this is I don't see the Steelers as being good right now. Like I just
the way Roethlisberger looking, and he just signed a 2-year deal. I'm like, why would you come back?
This is not Tom Brady.
Right, exactly.
This is old fat Drew Brees and Roethlisberger.
Right. Like, yeah, he messed up big time on that. He could have ate last year too, and actually had or with the Chiefs, and actually had a good season. Like, you would have been the third option in that offense.
Option, yes.
Right, you would have been having single coverage pretty much all the time with, Tyreek Hill and Travis
underneath
Kelce.
Passes.
Exactly, they would have been open all day long, all game long. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, come on, man.
Well,
like,
I don't know. Maybe
you turn that opportunity down.
Well, maybe he's thinking, Tom Brady's still in the league, so it's not like they're gonna win a championship anyway. So
you never know. The Chiefs will be contending for a while.
I'm joking.
Damn.
I was just being a Tom Brady, what do you call that?
Stands.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's move on from that talk, though. Juju Smith, good luck this year, man.
Yeah, good luck, bro.
In sadder updates, Deshaun, I don't know if it's sad. I don't know how to feel about this whole situation. It's not a good situation at all. I don't like it. But Deshaun Watson lost endorsements by Nike and Dre Beats by Dr. Dre. So we see endorsement guys are starting to fall off left and right for Deshaun Watson because I believe there's like 20 people that's
22.
accusing him. 22 people. 22, massage therapists that are accusing him of, sexual misconduct. He's in the, facing a civil lawsuit. I think there was actually a filing against him, a complaint against him with the, Texas Police Department, which, at least one of them could become like a criminal thing. So he's in a tough spot.
Man, he's
absolutely.
He's in deep waters. Earlier in the year, we were all talking about, where's Deshaun Watson gonna go? He's the hot commodity out there, and now nobody
wants to touch him.
He's not even worth a penny right now. It's crazy.
Nobody wants to touch him, man.
Right, and even the Panthers that wanted him and were interested in him.
They traded for Sam Darnold.
Whole different direction.
Nobody
wants
it.
Like, we're good. Like, we're going to go get it after another quarterback.
Listen,
and
he did this to himself, though. Nobody to blame but himself.
The Bears wanted them, and they was like, Andy Dalton's our starter.
He's our QB1 now. Can you believe they've already named him the starter in the QB1 for next year, Andy Dalton?
What choice do they have? Because they traded their QB1. It was another guy who was did dirty, by a franchise that wasn't doing things right.
He just left in free agency.
I would have left too. They gave me a bad reputation.
You want to play for the Bears, right? No, I don't blame him.
Right, and lastly, Justin Fields, who is the quarterback that's coming out of Ohio State in the draft. I believe when he was coming out of high school, he was like one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the country, along with Trevor Lawrence. They've actually played against each other since like high school, and they kind of been ranked 1 and 2 ever since. Justin Fields played Trevor Lawrence in a big game this year and outplayed Trevor Lawrence, you know what I'm saying, and won the game. And since the NBA draft process has started, Justin Fields' stock has plummeted, from being touted as the number 2 prospect at the quarterback position to now maybe being the number 5th picked quarterback in this coming up draft, in the upcoming draft, and, could fall at least to like an 11th spot, which is being projected. And there's been talks about, a lot of the times the black quarterbacks have fallen and white quarterbacks have risen. I talked about Zach Wilson, who just came out of BYU. We never heard of the guy until it was draft time, and now he's, projected to be the number 2 pick ahead of Justin Fields. And Mac Jones, who was supposed to be like the number 15th pick, is jumped him and went to like the number 3rd pick. It's like, what happened, in between, that last game Justin Fields played for the Ohio State to now in the draft process, to having a couple workouts, and now you're the 5th best quarterback on the board. Like, do you guys agree that this is, a problem that black quarterbacks have, or like, what are you guys seeing?
I mean, it's definitely a problem that black quarterback has, because the number one thing they're saying about him is that he's lazy now. All of a sudden, he's lazy.
Right. I think somebody came out from Ohio State and was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like,
You know what I mean?
One of the hardest working dudes.
All of a sudden, he's lazy. He scored one of the best score in like this test that they usually have, the draft, the
Wonderlic.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's whatever test that they have the players take before the draft. He scored one of the highest scores, and he's a really smart guy. But all of a sudden now he's lazy. He can't read the field very well. He only sticks to his first read option. I don't know. I think it's bogus.
It's a Wonderlic. It's an IQ test.
I don't pay too much attention to college sports at all, but now that he's about to be pro, I'm hearing some things, and I'm just not happy with the treatment he's getting, and I think some of it probably has to do with race, and we all know how the black quarterback is treated in the NFL. Is just not something that
not the leaders, we're the athletic guys.
Exactly. So
run first.
I don't like it. I hope whatever happens, he proves everybody wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly in agreement with you guys. I think it's unfortunate what we're seeing, with Justin Fields and how the NFL, is treating him, even before he's drafted. I think it's certainly unfair to to him. He's done, everything well and everything he could, on his end to put himself in the best position he could, possibly, put himself before the draft comes in a couple weeks, so that he can be, one of these, top quarterbacks being drafted, in this coming draft. I think it's, I'm sure race does have something to do with it, because it's always the case that these, black quarterbacks are being overlooked in the draft. Like we just talked about, Deshaun Watson and Pat Mahomes. Those guys both got overlooked, in the draft, and now they're two of the best, quarterbacks in the league. Even Lamar Jackson, he got, overlooked, and he, wasn't drafted until late in the first round, and look at him now.
They were asking him to...
Right, exactly.
They were asking him to be a receiver or a running back.
Or a running back, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
he refused.
Exactly. He's like, no, I'm a quarterback. Like, this is what I do. Like, I play the quarterback position. I know how to play quarterback and can play it, in the NFL. And he proved all the haters and the naysayers wrong. And, he's certainly a guy that's, going to continue to get better, and has already been playing well in this league. So it's just it's a terrible and, and a ridiculous trend that's going on in the NFL with, with how they, treat, black quarterbacks, and, that are, about to get drafted and that are coming into this league. It's just not right, for them to do that, or put all this false information about, him, to make him, look bad, and to make him look like, he's not working hard, or he's not doing what he's supposed to do. And when he had a really good pro day, and ran a really good 40 time, and
4.43.
Exactly.
Boy,
right.
come here.
like, come on, man. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all smoking? Like, seriously, it's asinine. So, yeah, I think they're doing him dirty, and yeah, and it just, I hate that this is continuing to be a trend even after what we've seen. Like, even Russell Wilson, like, he was drafted in the 3rd round, and now
Dak
like,
Prescott.
Now he's an elite quarterback. Now he's a legit top 5 quarterback, or maybe even top 3 if you guys even want to go.
I would think
there.
so.
Right. No, I
you can make an argument
without question. So, I mean, that's where we're at right now, unfortunately, with these quarterbacks, and hopefully it changes soon, because it's, as DeMarcus Cousins said, it's really getting ridiculous.
I mean, listen, for me, I hope he falls in the draft. I hope he falls right to the Patriots.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because that would be the best thing that's happened. Because to me, he's the number 2 quarterback. And I could even make an argument for number 1 quarterback in this whole thing, right? He's bigger.
Not over Trevor Lawrence. I wouldn't say that. Not over Trevor Lawrence.
I said I could make arguments that he could be. I think there's definitely times he's faster. You know what I mean? He's better built. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has the same type of arm strength. Maybe Trevor Lawrence, he's a sure thing. You know what I mean? We know he's a sure thing, and he's been showing out since he hit the field. You know what I mean? Justin Fields went from Georgia to Ohio State and started balling. You know what I'm saying? So Trevor Lawrence is the big thing, but we can't discount the fact that Justin Fields has been competing with this guy since he was in high school. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he's not a slouch. I don't know what the metrics are. I believe Todd McShay, who is like a draft expert, he explained the situation. He said Justin Fields only checks down about 17% of the time. Majority of the time he throws his first 2 reads and not his 3rd and 4th. And I'm like, who the fuck cares if your guys are open?
What's that supposed to mean? Like, what?
What are you talking about? Like, if my first guy is open, I'm sending him the rock. You know, he's the first guy for a reason. Like, so you're gonna discount me for using my best players to my advantage?
And also, so what? Like, this is what he's coming in the NFL for, to learn how to be a better quarterback. Like,
listen,
everybody even the best quarterbacks that were the best quarterbacks in college, like, you come into the NFL to learn to become a better player, to learn how to, like, let's talk about Cam Newton.
Right.
Like, when Cam Newton first started, they had to wall him out on one side of the field and give him like 2 options, and then throw the ball away if they're not open. And Cam Newton could barely
take off.
Even now, sometimes we can say Cam Newton can barely read the defense.
Yep.
Now
we talking about.
So what are we talking about?
He just can't do that at all.
So what are we talking about here?
And Justin Fields can read the defense. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, he just scored one of the highest scores in the Winter test. You know what I mean? It makes no sense to me. I hope he drops. I don't want him to, but if he drops, I hope the Patriots pounce and do something there, because
pick
the
that
kid,
man up. Yes,
please pick him up. I don't know what the other guys have done, to like jump him like that. But, one thing we can say, a lot of the guys that drop in the draft end up being better than the guys that got picked before them. You know what I mean? Like, we could think about like a Mitch Trubisky. They should have picked Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean? Like, the guys that dropped, Aaron Rodgers dropped. Aaron Rodgers dropped. Look at what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So, I think more often than not, the person that drops comes in and has a better career anyway. So
I like how y'all think Bill Belichick is gonna pick. Like, I'm not saying that I would love Bill Belichick to pick Justin Fields.
Yep.
But Bill Belichick is gonna pick a quarterback from Europe that you never heard of. That like I don't know what y'all
from Europe.
But I mean,
nah.
I'm with you though. I would like him to pick Justin Fields.
Listen, if he doesn't because this year is definitely different. You can't say it's the same year since we went out and did what we did in free agency. So we don't know what he may do in the draft because, when Belichick has a need on his team, usually he does what he has to do to like address that need, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that if he doesn't get one of the top 5, I think he might end up with a guy like, I don't know if you guys heard about him. His name is Kellen Mond.
I've been hearing about him lately.
Texas A&M quarterback, same team Patrick Mahomes came from, and he's a 4-year starter. He won most of his games. I think he only lost like 14 games throughout his time
wasn't
there.
Mahomes Texas Tech?
Texas Tech, right. That's the wrong team. I was thinking it's the same one. It's Texas A&M, and he kind of like reminds me of Kaepernick a little bit. And he's accurate. He can throw the ball. Like, watch out for that name. I'm just saying,
Wow, so he can ball, huh? A word.
He can ball. He can ball, or a Kyle Trask or something like that. So those are,
I've been also hearing about Trash too.
Right. So, I mean, we're going to have a show, breaking down the draft with our boy Kevin Tame on,
Yes, K-Money.
Before the draft. So we'll talk to you guys more about that. But it's going to be an interesting draft for sure, to say the least, man.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
For real. Some Patriots draft. Julian Edelman is doubtful to play the full upcoming season. He has that chronic knee issue. So everybody around there understands that. The Patriots have, been inquiring about the number 4th and number 5th pick in this year's draft. And, I think a question is like, should they try to go up? You guys think they should go up?
I said my piece already. I don't think they should go up. I really think they should draft a defensive anchor at that pick. I trust Bill Belichick to make a great pick at that pick. I don't expect him to go up. I'll be pleasantly surprised if he does, but I just don't expect that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it, happen. I'd like to, see him trade up in the draft and get a quarterback. I certainly think, either they're capable of doing that, and they have a lot of draft picks, and they got some I can't even say the word, compensatory picks or whatever that. Compensatory. Thank you, guys. I don't know why I can't talk today for some reason. I don't know what's going on with me, but nonetheless, they have some extra picks that they can be able to use in a deal to get that get one of those top picks and put themselves in a position to get one of these top quarterback prospects that are going to be available in the draft. So I honestly would like to see that happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just stays put at 15 and drafts a player that he likes. Whether it's defense or offense, but definitely if he can make that move and hit up the Falcons or the Bengals and move into that into a top spot to get a quarterback. Like I really hope that happens.
Yeah. Listen, man, I'm excited. I think I've been doing my homework on quarterbacks. On some draft board, a guy like Kellen Mond is like projected to be like the 3rd best quarterback in this whole thing. So
really, that we've moved up that significantly to
Senior Bowl.
Wow.
No, some people have him as high as the 3rd best quarterback in this thing.
In their mock draft.
In their draft. Okay. In the Senior Bowl, he did his thing. I big up a few guys here and there. I mean, some stuff that I'm hearing. But we'll see what happens. I would love for him to go up. Man, if they could get a Justin Fields, bro.
Ooh,
heaven.
Yes.
But another person that's coming to questions, we talked about him already. Should we be interested in Teddy Bridgewater?
I think so, but it's a weird thing because I don't know why Belichick signed Cam Newton, to be honest. I mean, I'm rooting for Cam. I'm always rooting for Cam. I always want Cam to have a good season. If he can still play, I'm hoping he can. But I just don't think he's that guy anymore. So now that you have him, if you bring Teddy Bridgewater, like I just don't know if he's gonna be okay with that. I don't know if Cam is gonna be okay with being the backup quarterback if he loses the job to Teddy Bridgewater. So now that you sign Cam Newton, you put yourself in a situation that any guy that you bring in, is Cam gonna be okay with being the backup?
So, I mean, he getting backup money. You better be,
yeah, but he said he's coming for all y'all.
So, you're right. We'll see. He said that last year too.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
He said that last year.
Last year, look what happened. Right.
So I mean, I just don't think he's gonna be. I just don't know how that's gonna work. Like, is he gonna be okay with being a backup? Is that gonna mess up the chemistry of the team? Like, how is that gonna do? Like, I mean, maybe Belichick is willing to cut him.
I mean, listen, don't start trouble over here.
For real.
maybe because if you bring Teddy Bridgewater and listen, I'm confident Teddy Bridgewater will win that job over Cam Newton. Are you willing to cut Cam Newton then? Maybe he's willing to cut Cam Newton then, because it's not a lot of money if he cuts Cam Newton.
And actually Teddy Bridgewater would be pretty cheap too, because I think he's owed like $11 million. And it's pretty much like, I mean, $10 million, and it's pretty much like guaranteed by the Panthers, so they have to pay that money. And we could sign him for like $11 million and end up only paying him $1 million. You know what I mean? Exactly,
John. And the Patriots and Belichick love those kind of players and
situations,
love those kind of people, right? To bring them into their organization and have someone else pay their salary, and they only have to pay them the minimum amount, or whatever they want to pay them at their price. Like, that's like, what the Patriots do, and that's what Belichick absolutely like just salivas himself over, and like, and that's what he does. Like, that's pretty much what he's been doing as particularly a GM his whole career and stuff, and that's the people that they like to get. So I'd say absolutely bring him over, because again, guys, I'm not sold on Cam Newton being the starter as the Patriots quarterback, and I don't want to see it happen. And I don't care about Cam Newton's feelings if you bring in another veteran to compete for the job, because they should be bringing in someone else to compete for the job. He shouldn't just be competing for the job with Jared Stidham, or as I like to call him, Jared Pick'em, because that doesn't prove anything, and that's not good enough. We need to bring in someone else that can, be able to, put a better competition and put a better fight for the quarterback position. And I'm not even so that Cam should, is even the best person to be the starter for, as the quarterback. So yes, if Teddy Bridgewater is, he's obtainable without a doubt, as we just said, they definitely should be looking into that and be looking to bring him in. I'd also like to see them draft a guy as well. So yeah, definitely the Patriots need a quarterback still. That's their biggest hole and the biggest need on this team as of right now. The only thing that's really keeping them from being a true contender in the AFC, because they filled out the rest of the roster. We just need a quarterback. So whatever you have to do to get that quarterback and bring him here, whether it's Teddy Bridgewater or, someone else, please bring that person and do what you have to do to have them on this roster and compete, for the quarterback job next year, because we desperately need it in the worst way.
Yeah, can you imagine 2 black quarterbacks on a Patriots roster? It's like,
I'd be crazy, right? I didn't even think of it
different.
Like that, right?
That's different. I mean, I'm gonna agree with you guys for sure. He's an upgrade to anything we got in the locker room right now, for sure. And we'll see what happens. He might end up here, right in the draft. I mean, there might be a trade.
Draft
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. And that's going to be it for the Patriots segment and the NFL segment. We're going to go into the MLB, but we're talking about the Red Sox. Some news on the Red Sox. JD Martinez is on COVID protocol. Michael Chavis was called up to take his spot, and he actually scored yesterday. And yesterday, meaning Saturday, Michael Chavis scored to actually put us ahead in the game. And Eduardo Rodriguez made his first start since 2019 in a win against the Orioles. If you guys remember, we reported on him being affected severely by the COVID-19, pandemic. And there was news that he might not even be able to play again. So he's making a great comeback to actually be a team starter, right? He was going to be the opening day starter, which is like remarkable in my perspective anyways. So since the last time we spoke about the Red Sox, last week they were dead in the water. And this week it looks like we have a competitive team, man. Even the game that's being played right now on the Sunday, the Red Sox are leading 14-7 against the Orioles, and it looks like they're going to sweep them because it's the bottom of the eighth. They got to get a miracle. The Orioles came through the first time and they swept us, and now we're returning the favor. But since then,
getting that revenge, yeah.
Right. We've had some games against the Rays, which we won the first one 11-2, the second one 6-5, the third one 9-2. That was a clean sweep. And then we won against the Orioles, the team that just, swept us previously, 7-3 the first game, 6-4 the next game. And now we're up. The Red Sox are up 14-7 in the third game, which would be the last game of that series right there. Some upcoming games they have is versus the Twins. They got a 4-game series, and then against the White Sox, they got another 4-game series. What are you guys seeing about the Red Sox? Like, it looks like we have what looks like could be a competitive team this year. At least, we're not going to be dead in the water because they played the Orioles, who don't have the best reputation, but then they played the Rays, who's been really good lately, and swept them, and now sweeping those, the Orioles. So how you guys feeling this week?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't watch so much Red Sox. I think it's good.
That's honest.
I think it's good.
At least he's honest, yeah.
I think it's good that they're winning because for the past year and a half, they really haven't had a product worth watching. So I think it's good that they're winning early so they can at least get fans interested. So hopefully they can keep it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I certainly like what I've been seeing from the Red Sox, this week, after their dreadful start, to the season. They've certainly picked it back up and are playing a lot better. Obviously, their pitching has been, better than starting pitching. They're not giving up too many runs. They're keeping the team in the games, which is exactly what you ask for from your starting pitchers, is just to keep you in the game and don't give up too many runs. And then they're getting run support. They're, hitting. They're scoring runs. They're, getting, not only base hits, they're getting, home runs. They're, guys are, producing and, and hitting the ball and keeping the line moving, as they say, in baseball. So I think, the Red Sox are playing really well. And I'm just glad to see Eduardo Rodriguez, come back from his, from missing all last year, due to him having COVID and him having the symptoms and after effect. So it was good to see him out there. Thought he pitched, well, made some mistakes, but that's going to happen. But despite of that, he pitched well. Nathan Eovaldi's been pitching well, too. He pitched well against the Rays. So I think that's, a plus for them because they need those guys to be able to pitch at their best for the team to be successful. And, and JD Martinez, who's actually was on the COVID list, actually already came back today, and he's hit 3 home runs. and
Yes.
and so yeah, he's been living up to his name. I know they've been used to call him a couple years ago in 2018, particularly just dingers, and he's been hitting just dingers,
Yeah.
and been going deep. So yeah, he's actually the fifth player in MLB history to have a homer game with three different teams, which is pretty cool and pretty awesome for
Be
him to be
impressive.
able to accomplish that without question. But certainly, Devers has been doing his thing as well as the rest of their guys. So hopefully they can keep this up. I don't want to get too carried away because
Yeah.
we're still early into the season. But certainly at least they're heading in the right direction and playing better baseball. So
Yeah. I think
hopefully they can continue that moving forward.
Yeah, I think the right direction is the right word. We don't want to get, too crazy with it. But they're shaping up to be one of those teams because if you think about it, the Red Sox are pretty faceless right now. You got JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, Chris Sales, who would be like, the most popular, the most known players on these teams. And we're talking about JD Martinez, who never talks about nothing. He's not an entertainer, whatsoever. He's not flashy. He just goes in and hits dingers, man. And then you got Xander Bogaerts, who's kind of like the same way. He's just out there doing his thing. He doesn't make much noise. And then Chris Sales, who's pretty much the same way, man. Ever since he came here to the Red Sox. So
Chris Sales talks a little bit. He has a little bit more of a personality,
yep.
But I hear what you're saying.
He's no Mookie Betts, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not. He's no Jackie
He's not
Bradley.
as big of a personality as Mookie, right?
Yeah. So those guys, it's shaping up to be one of those teams that's just like out here playing hard and trying to play for each other. And I hope that's the kind of mentality they take because they.
Me too, absolutely.
I love watching teams like that. Nameless, faceless, just let's play ball. You know what I'm saying? And I think when we had David Ortiz, Ramirez, and then people, we were kind of like that too, the idiots or whatever, with the,
I said him a lot, would call him,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So I kind of like that feel more than a team that has like a bunch of superstars and, that you're expecting stuff from. So good luck to the Red Sox, man. We're going to keep updating you guys on the Red Sox for sure. We're going to veer off into the NHL with some Bruins news. They've played 4 games the last time we spoke. They played against the Flyers the first time, lost 3-2. The second time, won 4-2. And then they played the Capital once, and they won 4-2. And then played the Flyers again and lost 3-2. Some upcoming games they have is against the Capitals, the Sabres, Islanders back-to-back, and then the Capitals again. Some news for the Bruins. The rookie goalie, Jeremy Swayman, has been playing well in his first start. Tuukka Rask to return soon, possibly this week. And, given the way the rookie has performed, I heard somebody like Marchand said, he was the best player out there tonight. And sometimes you need your goalie to be, the best player most of the times out there. And I think some people are starting to question, like, should the Bruins move on from Tuukka Rask?
I'm going to let you take that, Barry.
Yeah, that's certainly a tough question. I could definitely see, both sides, but if I had to choose one, I'd say, I think they should move on from Tuukka Rask and go in a different direction because, he's a guy that's his contract's up at the end of the season. He's going to be a free agent. He's having, health issues and he's, not getting any younger. He's, 34 in his mid-30s, having, back issues now, which is certainly not a good thing. And he just, hasn't been that guy who is, reliable and dependable and that you can, that he'll be there in the biggest games and when you really need him. So he certainly hasn't, shaped up to be that goalie. He's really good when he's healthy, but, unfortunately, he hasn't been healthy too often. It's funny because like he's kind of like the Jimmy G of the NHL. Like I'm just thinking about that right now. Like this dude's always like having some sort of like
Some
injury
ailments.
or exactly some ailments or something that's going on that's keeping him from playing. On nice and from being on the being active on the team. So I think at the position, and at the point where, like, I'm sure the Bruins have had enough of, of Tuukka Rask, and like, yeah, like we need to get younger at that position and look for, the next guy at the, the goaltender position. And I even heard they were even looking at the trade deadline that just passed. They were looking at goaltenders.
At goalies, yep.
Yeah, we have to, to come in and help them with with that position on the team. So I think it's time to cut the cord from Tuukka Rask and to let him go, and to move on and and find his successor, and hopefully it's Jeremy Swayman or the other rookie. That's been
Vladar.
playing well. Vladar, yep, he's also played well in his games that he's been in. So hopefully it's one of those two guys, and if not, then I'm sure they'll be looking for someone in the off season, more of like a veteran that can come in and help. But that then Tuukka Rask's days are numbered with the Boston Bruins.
See, that's why I'm at with the veteran stuff, right? So right now, Tuukka Rask is the most tenured goalie we have on the team, and he's the winningest goalie we have on the team. So trade him right now. I don't know.
Well, they can't because the deadline already passed.
Right. So maybe in the off season, when we can bring some other guys in, sure. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the last couple of years he's just been like very unreliable. No matter what the situation is, and that's one position you need reliability in. You know what I mean? We've been looking for that goalie ever since what's his name? Tim Thomas, left, who was a monster goalie.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Big time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure. And Rask definitely hasn't lived up to that, since he's been here.
No, he's been a beast at times, though. I'll give him that. He's had his fair share of
moments,
of really good games, and of him playing like really, great hockey and goaltending. It's just hasn't been enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, I remember the whole debacle last year, in the bubble and stuff, him leaving and stuff like that. So definitely left a bad taste in my mouth as far as like a Bruins fan. But is it time? It could be, because it's just it just feels it. It just feels like it.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with that and keep you updated. And lastly, we're gonna go into the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week. Barry, who you got?
Yes. So we have a very big personality and a very big person, one of my favorite people. And, for this week, for the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, who actually did something that's, pretty cool and, and really awesome. And that person would be Shaquille O'Neal, the Big Diesel, as they call him, or Superman, if you want to refer to him as that. But, nonetheless, the reason why I wanted to recognize him as the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week is because he actually did a pretty good deed. I think he, did something that's really, really genuine and really, generous and something that normally not a lot of people do. And stuff. And I heard that he does stuff like this all the time, but it just hasn't doesn't become public. So what he did was he was at a jewelry store in Atlanta, and he had, come, cross paths with a stranger, with a young gentleman who was in that jewelry store, who was trying to get a ring for, for his woman that, he was with. He was looking at rings, and he wanted to put one of the ring that he wanted to get, he wanted to put it on layaway, so kind of like pay as he goes, make like a payment plan for it. And Shaq had overheard the interaction that he was having with the employees of the jewelry store and stuff. So he approached the young gentleman and the employees, and he told the employees from the jewelry store that he would pay for the ring, and he would take care of the finances of the ring right then and there. So yeah, I thought that was really special, and like I said, really kind and thoughtful of him to do that, and really genuine, and goes to show how big of a heart he has, and how good of a person he really is, to just do that for a complete stranger that you meet at a jewelry store. It, he really is one of the good people, one of the good people out there, and wish that there were more people in this world like that, that would do good deeds, and do good things for for people who need it, and who have that humility. Like, I don't think there's honestly a person that I know of, heard of, that has more humility than Shaq. Even as rich, as famous as he is, he's certainly a very humble person, and is willing to help whenever he can. So definitely big shout out to Shaquille O'Neal on being this week's B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, and helping that young gentleman get his ring, for his fiance. And yeah, that's the B Money Lifestyle. So congrats to Shaq.
Yeah. Where does Shaq live? Do we know?
I believe he stays in Atlanta, because obviously he works for TNT, and he's part of the inside the NBA, and their TNT studio is in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. No,
So, but he obviously has multiple houses and locations, but he mainly stays in Atlanta as of now, at least during the NBA season.
So when I plan on buying some, I'll go, wherever he stays at, and hopefully, he's in the place at the same time. I mean, he could take care. Like that's crazy, like Shaq. Like, you just pay off my whole shit. Like,
I know. It's funny, but it's awesome though.
I want to get shit paid for.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if I could time it, to be there at the perfect time, shout outs to Shaq though.
Y'all never done that?
No.
I definitely haven't. No.
Maybe
I have not.
Maybe I paid. Maybe I've paid for a coffee or something. Like,
yeah,
there you go.
Right. I've done that. Like, gotten a coffee, or gotten like a drink of someone, or like bought someone a beer or whatever. Right.
Yeah, that's the extent of my generosity right there. I'll pay for your little coffee, but a whole ring, like,
yeah, it's different, right?
If I was doing,
a whole different ball game.
I'd say, can I look at another one? Can I?
No, see, then that's then nah. That's when Shaq says, okay, then now you're being greedy.
Can I get a bigger one?
Come on, bro.
You can do that at that
point. Listen.
You just have to be grateful at that point.
I write it on a note. I want the bigger rock. Here, pass it to the cashier real quick. Let me get the bigger one.
That's even more fucked up. Then I'm not paying for it at all now.
Right, now you're just taking advantage of his kindness.
Listen,
and his generosity.
He pulled out that black card and was like, I got this. Like, no, I seen that, man. That was beautiful. Shout outs to Shaq for sure.
Right, and I was going to say one other thing. Now y'all know who y'all need to hit up, and who y'all need to contact, and where y'all need to go. If y'all have that special lady in your life, and y'all are ready to put a ring on it, and and get that ring on her finger. Like, you know,
Yeah.
hopefully you're able to, you know, get a hold of Shaq or be where at the right place at the right time, like that
Listen,
gentleman was, and be able to have Shaq hook you up. Like, he
you
didn't
gave him
pay
the
for the ring.
award. You gave him the award, so he'll probably pay for your stuff. So,
But I still
you
have
know.
to find that special lady, because I don't have that special lady in my life yet. So
yeah.
hopefully I find it, you know, one day. And when I do find it, hopefully I'll be able to hit up Shaq and have him, you know, hook me up and pay for that for me.
Good luck, Barry. Good luck.
Yeah,
And
I
that's gonna
appreciate
be
it.
it for us for episode 56. If you're still watching, listening, we appreciate you. Keep listening, keep supporting. You know, that helps the podcast grow. Until episode 57, man. We out of here. Peace.
Peace out. Have a good week, everyone. See y'all next week.